Okay, that the CT will start acquiring images at that seconds or this much milliseconds. So CT angiography is the study of choice for vascular system. CT findings will be signs of frank hemorrhage include retroperitoneal hematoma. I already told you if there is aortic rupture or aortic leakage, there will be hematoma in the retroperitoneum with para-aortic stranding. Around the aorta, there will be soft tissue strands. Contrast extravasation from the aorta into the retroperitoneum. So see, this is the aortic leakage. Aorta, you can see the opacified aorta. Blood is being leaked out of the aorta. There is this grayish area here, which is hematoma. Okay, this is the hematoma, soft tissue density area in the retroperitoneum. Ruptured aortic aneurysm, enlargement of the abdominal aorta more than 3 cm, usually secondary to atherosclerosis, and the preferred site is below the renal arteries and above the iliac. So that segment which is located below the level of the renal artery and above the level of the common iliacs, this area is the site where usually abdominal aorta it ruptures. About 20 to 25% ruptures are less than 4 cm and retroperitoneal usually left-sided. However, if the aorta ruptures into the GIT, it will lead to massive hemorrhage. And if the aorta rupture into its neighboring structure IVC, inferior vena cava, it will lead to rapid cardiac decompensation. Why? Because high velocity, high pressure flow, high pressure blood from the aorta will be now going directly to the IVC and into the heart. So the heart, the right atrium of the heart is not used to that high pressure blood. So it will lead to cardiac decompensation. Now this is the active extravasation of contrast, and there is if you see this grayish area, this is the luminal thrombus clot in the lumen of the aorta. Extravasation of contrast from the aorta into the retroperitoneum. Again, these are the images which are showing you aortic aneurysm and extravasation because of the leakage. Now, coming to pulmonary embolism. Pulmonary embolism refers to embolic occlusion of the pulmonary arterial system. Majority of cases they result from thrombotic occlusion and therefore the condition is frequently termed as pulmonary thromboembolism. However, other embolic sources include air embolism, fat embolism, tumor embolism, talc embolism, and amniotic fluid embolism. The clinical features are mostly dyspnea, chest pain, and hemoptysis, which is the classical triad in pulmonary embolism. However, the chest X-ray findings are non-specific. CT pulmonary angiography, which is called CTPA, is the study of choice. What is CTPA? Again, the same. CT angiography done for the pulmonary arteries. So the timing will be according to the contrast appearance in the pulmonary arteries now. And it will show you filling defects in the pulmonary vasculature with acute pulmonary embolism. This is called Polo Mint sign. What do you mean by Polo Mint sign? Polo Mint, remember that the candy with a central hole. That is the originally introduced by the brand Polo. So that was termed as Polo Mint. And so it will show you central. If I show you the images, CT images, this is CT angiography. This is the descending aorta and this is the ascending aorta, which are opacified. And see this grayish area, which is not opacified, but the peripheral part, this rim is opacified. What is this area? This is actually the main pulmonary artery, and now this is dividing into this is the left pulmonary artery. Okay, so main pulmonary artery and the left branch all is not opacified. That means it is filled with thrombus. This gray area is the clot or thrombus. So there is a large thrombus in the main pulmonary artery here. What about the smaller branches? This is a smaller branch. See, central part is gray and the periphery is all white. This is the Polo Mint sign, like a donut. Okay, there is centrally there is a hole and periphery is filled. That means centrally there is a clot. That's why it is not filled with contrast, and peripherally the blood is flowing. Okay, so any artery with a central thrombus and peripherally there is blood flow there, it will give you Polo Mint sign. This arrowhead is also pointing towards a small arterial branch which is giving you a Polo Mint sign where centrally there is a clot. And see this vessel, whole of the vessel is gray. That means all is occluded. Okay. that is filled with thrombus, obstructed. What about this area? This is actually consolidation. And so consolidation, since it is which window? Lung window or mediastinal window? This is mediastinal window because lung is all black here. So consolidation appears like this on the lung window. It appears white on mediastinal window, but on lung window it is all gray with black areas because it is water, and water is gray on mediastinal window of chest and abdomen. DVT. The term DVT is practically a synonym for those that occur in the lower limbs. However, it can also be used for those that occur in the upper limbs and neck veins. Doppler sonography is the study of choice. What are the complications for deep vein thrombosis? Pulmonary embolism and venous thromboembolism. Now, what are the features on ultrasound? We do the ultrasound of the leg veins. Whenever there is a vein, there is an accompanying artery there. So we see two structures, but only one structure is giving color flow. When you put color in the color flow Doppler, only one structure is colorful, like this. Why? Because the other is not patent, not having blood flow. It will give you color only if it is having blood flow. Okay. So this area is not giving you any signal. That means it is not patent. Okay. This is the vein. This is the deep vein, and this is the accompanying artery. When you put this is called spectral Doppler. This was the color Doppler. Now this is the spectral Doppler. You want to have a spectrum of the waveform of velocity. You want to see the velocity of blood here. So when you see the velocity of blood here, there is nothing visible. Absent spectral Doppler analysis. So you see there is, because there is no blood flowing in it. So also, there is another feature which is called augmentation. What is augmentation? When you press the calf muscle, when you press or squeeze the calf muscle of the patient in normal individuals, it shows you an augmentation of flow. There is a peak visible on this spectral Doppler. Why? Because by squeezing the calf muscles, there is more venous return from the heart, so it will give you high velocity instantly. But in case where it's obstructed, where there is obstructed, where there is no flow, whatever amount you squeeze the calf, there will be no augmentation. So that is called absent augmentation. Okay, because whenever you squeeze the calf, in case there is obstruction, in case there is thrombosis of the vein, there will be no increase of venous return. So absent augmentation is a sign of deep vein thrombosis. Talking about the carotid artery Doppler, now see carotid arteries, just like the Doppler for the venous system, we also can do the Doppler for the arterial system. Most importantly for the carotid artery in the neck. Why? Because carotid artery in the neck, that is the only blood supply of the brain. Okay. So if you have occluded or thrombosed carotid artery, or you can say if you have atherosclerotic plaques in the carotid artery, the area supplied by the brain can suffer. There can be ischemia of the brain, and because of the atherosclerosis being common in older population, most of the older age people can suffer from transient ischemic attacks or even from stroke if they have atherosclerotic plaques. Okay, so you can do an ultrasound assessment of the carotid arterial atherosclerotic disease, and that is a first line of investigation. It can do the screening it can be done for the screening purposes as well. And what is the advantage of it? It can not only see the plaque itself, but also it can assess the area which is obstructed or which is like occluded by the thrombus, and also the area which is patent, right? So these are the characteristics. Now if you see this image, these are actually the ultrasound images. This is the longitudinal image, first one, and this is the transverse image of the carotid artery. Now this black area is the carotid artery in the neck, which is showing, which is having the blood. Black is the blood, right? And what about this one, which the arrow is pointing? This is the atherosclerotic plaque. Okay, the plaque, or the you can see the area which is formed by the atherosclerosis. This area is having calcification as well. Why? Because mature atherosclerotic plaques show calcifications, and because of this calcification you can see a shadow. Always on ultrasound, calcification casts a posterior shadow. So this is the atherosclerotic plaque, and when you see the transverse image, it is almost occluding half of the carotid artery. But it is not true assessment. Assessment will be from the ultrasound. There are special measurements available where you can see the actual area which is occluded and the area which is left. So the ultrasound can calculate the exact volume of blood flowing, and ultrasound can also assess the exact area which is patent. So it is said that if 80% is 80% area is occluded of the carotid artery, then it is an indication for surgery. Okay, so that's how ultrasound assessment of the carotid artery atherosclerotic disease can help you in decision regarding surgery. Okay, we come to the end of the cardiovascular system. Any question, girls? Okay, Ghada, about Wafa, I already told today for the second lecture, Wafa, you were not present. Now, change your internet or do something regarding your internet connection, and everyone should be present throughout the length of the entire lecture, okay? Thank you. Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll begin at 10 o'clock. From 10 to 2, I have lectures with you. Yes, thank you.